As the chairman said, since this is my first full committee hearing as ranking member, I wanted to take a brief moment and express my sincere enthusiasm and commitment to work with Chairman Skelton and our members on both sides of the aisle to ensure that America's men and women in uniform have the direction, tools, and resources they need to succeed, and that our defense policies meet the evolving security demands facing our nation. Today we're focused on the next generation of WMD threats. I think it's fair to say that many would agree that we live in a complex security environment that includes nuclear-capable states, nations determined to be nuclear powers, and terrorists who seek nuclear materials and know-how. If we look to the latest headlines in the news, we'll find a defiant North Korea, which ignores the international community with its nuclear tests, multiple ballistic missile launches, and proliferation of WMD technology and expertise. A calculating Iranian regime that is determined to develop its capabilities to build nuclear weapons, and al-Qaeda and their affiliates who seek to undermine the Pakistani government, a nation with nuclear weapons program. It's how we approach this WMD threat where we may have some disagreements. From my perspective, we need a balanced and effective toolkit filled with unilateral and multilateral tools of nonproliferation, counterproliferation, and military preparedness, including missile defense and emergency response. Today, we're focused on one set of tools at our disposal, defense nonproliferation programs managed by the Department of Energy and the Cooperative Threat Reduction Program managed by the Department of Defense. Gentlemen, I look forward to hearing your individual assessments of the major proliferation challenges facing the United States and the international community, and how your respective organizations prioritize to meet these challenges. I'm also interested in learning your thoughts on U.S.-Russia nonproliferation cooperation. As you know, earlier this month, President Obama met with Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, and in a joint statement, both nations confirmed their commitment to strengthen cooperation to prevent the proliferation of nuclear weapons and stop acts of terrorism. Based on this renewed commitment, what will be the impact, if anything, on your existing programs with Russia and in terms of cost sharing? At this time, I'd also like to raise two concerns. First, while I recognize that addressing the WMD proliferation threat is in U.S. national security interests, our success depends on our partnerships with Russia and other nations. I'm concerned that the United States often gets stuck paying the bills, especially for those nations who have the financial means to contribute. Let me emphasize that a partnership is not a one-way street. It's not an assistance program, and it is not effortless. Please describe how you are working with other nations to ensure they take the proliferation threat seriously and how they are contributing, both in terms of capital and political and financial capital, to address our shared proliferation interests. Second, in the recently passed National Defense Authorization Act, both NNSA and the DoD received funding above the President's budget request for their non-proliferation programs. While I support the bill that we passed, I'm concerned that the additional $402.6 million provided to the NNSA came without a formal request from the Administrator or Secretary of Energy and was based on a vague commitment made during President Obama's April 5th speech in Prague, where he outlined his vision, I quote, to secure all vulnerable nuclear material around the world within the next 4 years, end quote. My concern is that we're funding programs before the President's rhetoric has translated into an integrated interagency strategy or plan that has been shared with Congress. As further evidence of my concerns, neither our colleagues on the Senate Armed Services Committee nor the House Appropriators provided additional funding for NNSA's defense nonproliferation programs. In addition, both of these committees also reduced funding for an NNSA program to disable and dismantle North Korea's nuclear program next year. North Korea's rejection of the six-party talks and recent provocative actions are strong indicators that the international community will be in a stalemate with North Korea for the foreseeable future. Considering these circumstances, Republicans would rather see this funding and additional increases designated by the committee for these programs be shifted to other priorities, such as missile defense, given the current threat. Before closing, I want to reiterate that our nonproliferation programs are essential to U.S. national security interests, especially our efforts to keep nuclear materials out of the hands of terrorists. Gentlemen, I look forward to your testimony and a candid discussion that follows, and thank you for being here.